Welcome to the Matchmaker Matchmaker podcast, where we learn all about dating, relationships, love, and connections. And today we have something really different for you. We have a podcast all about connections, but not just personal ones, business ones. And I'm so excited to have Brian Spivak here with me, also known as Barzel Media, just to give a shout out. And he makes business matches. I mean, just to put it plainly.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's single.
That's
saying.
true. Yeah. As of the recording of this podcast, yeah.
Oh, as of the recording of this podcast. You never...
Who knows,
No, it's so true. You never know what happens in dating.
Yeah, isn't that what happened with one of the people on the Netflix show, right? By the time the episode actually aired, she was already,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what happens. We're here in Tel Aviv. Mm-hmm. We are sweating, if you can see us.
It's pretty hot, yeah.
It's been hot here. And I want to just dig in. Mm-hmm. So tell me about a business match. First of all, let's just talk about how we met, how we business matched. Yeah. We were at an event. I was invited to be a judge on a panel at an event. You were there.
I don't even know why I was there. I was invited, just to, for my media coverage or something like that. They wanted some exposure, so sure, why not?
So you were there. So you happened to be there.
Yeah.
I knew when I walked in, I knew one other person, and then I saw one other person that I knew, and I knew nobody else.
Same.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
I literally only knew the executive director who was busy running around, so I knew no one else. Yeah.
Right. And I kind of arrived at the end because we hit massive traffic. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just standing there. I'm like, oh, quick, let's grab a bite to eat. And you're like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
I was like, yay, friendly face. I know nobody else here.
And we didn't know each other yet. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It was so nice to just be warmly received, to have a hello. Yeah. It just felt good.
Yeah.
So first of all, thank you for that warm reception.
Course,
I think that's how connections are made. And since then, we started to talk and connect. Your company got off the ground and running. Mm-hmm. You're doing amazing things in business and connecting influencers, Jewish influencers and others, to the Jewish world and helping to bring more light into the world. Yeah. I'm sure you have a better pitch than that. That's my on-one-foot pitch. But tell me about a business match that you made, or a business connection. You've made a lot putting influencers and other people together. What's something that you've done?
It's actually interesting because, so my business is to make connections between influencers and paid partnership opportunities, either with brands, nonprofit organizations, events, you name it. And what's interesting is that just a business connection that popped into my mind recently, which was a cool story. I was at an event that I was hosting. It was a Hanukkah event. And let's back up. I gave the punchline first, but so the event that I went to was a networking event at like Google's offices, and honestly wasn't so interested in the topic. So a bunch of us were kind of like hanging outside of the area, schmoozing, and I meet this girl, and she's young and she's like vibrant and good energy, and Lisa's like, where's this going? Is this the romantic, friendship, or business? By the way, which is a good time to say, always be open. Just go with like, I don't know where it's going. Like, just be open to any type of connection. This ended up being actually kind of neither, but more on the business side. But she told me that she recently graduated from college, and she told me she's looking for a job. And I said, what kind of job? And like, what's your background? She described what she's looking for, and I said, I think I have like the perfect company for you.
By the way, in dating, I tell people never say that.
Oh, right, never say that. That's true. Yes,
like
I agree.
Such a killer, like,
yes,
I know the perfect person for you. Yes,
I hate that.
You're psychic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I hate that. Right. So I don't know if I said that exactly, but yes, 100%.
But to say you just described what you're looking for, and I have a great opportunity that sounds in alignment with that.
Yeah, it was a recent company that I met with to potentially do business with. Over the course of I think we had just started to do a little bit of business together. Anyway, I made the introduction, and just time went by, 3, 4, 5 months passed, and I'm hosting this event at this Hanukkah party. There's like 500 people showed up, and this girl comes over to me and she says, "Hey, what's up? Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." That happens to me all the time. If that happens to you, like, don't be offended. I might not remember. I'm terrible with names and faces. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, remind me. She's like, yeah, we met at this like networking event and you introduced me to this company. I got the job. And I'm like, what? Like, no one told me. Like,
I made the match.
I made the match. And nobody told me. And then about a month and a half later, we started working on a very serious campaign around the time of the Iran war. We're working on a campaign related to Iran, actually. And she was my point of contact. She was telling me what to do. She was the client. Amazing how this works. Yeah. So it came full circle.
I love it.
Yeah.
Such a good business story.
Yeah.
And you help somebody to have a livelihood, find a position that really suits them. And there's nothing more satisfying than that. When you know who you are and you know what you want to do and you know what you're good at, and then finding that match, it's the same thing like making a good match in a relationship.
Yeah. 100%.
Now, you told me you actually do have a relationship match. We talk about, you make 3 matches and you go to heaven.
Yeah.
There's no Jewish source for it. There's no other source for it in the world, but everybody, Jews and non-Jews,
it's the only thing we know. Yeah.
No, but we all believe it. Like, we all have bought into this, make 3 matches and you go to heaven.
I want to find the guy who came up with that. And
So I've been doing a lot of research.
Okay. And?
I haven't gotten there yet. Some people are like, well, it might be alluded to in the passage. And I'm like, no. I don't want alluded to anything. I want like serious concrete, like show me where it says it.
Yeah.
We don't have anything yet, but if you find something, and if you find something, you let me know.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to know because I heard that you made a romantic match also. So see, when you're good at matchmaking, it's not just, you could be good in any area.
Yeah.
And by the way, most people fail all the time in matchmaking, except one time you make it and like, yay, you're a miracle worker.
Yeah. Yep.
So tell me about this romantic match that you made and what happened and how it happened.
Okay, so there's actually like different versions of the story. There always is. It's kind of like whenever you hear a couple like say how we met, you know.
Tell the most interesting version. That's all we want.
So basically, so I'm very active in my Chabad community, Chabad on the Coast in Tel Aviv. Shout out. And one of the I was really, really close with a girl there. I met her. Actually, the first time I met her, she came to one of my meals. Like, she was like someone's plus one, like a friend.
You were hosting a Shabbat meal.
I was hosting a Shabbat meal.
She shows up as somebody's plus one.
Like, as in a girl's plus one. Yeah. So like friends. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So not someone's romantic plus one. So so that was the first time I met her, and we became like really, really close friends. And a guy who I became friendly with one day asked me about her. He's like, "What's the deal with this girl? Like, you seem to be very close with her. Is there anything like romantic between you guys?" And I said, "No, like not at all. Like, we're just, really good friends." And I looked at him. I was like, "Are you interested?"
Oh, you picked up. See, he didn't even say anything yet, but you had the matchmaker vibe, and you picked up that he was hinting at it.
Picked up on that. Yeah. I picked up on that.
Okay, good.
And he's like, "Yeah, I think I might be." And he's a little bit more of a reserved person, definitely more introverted. So I picked up on what he was, going for, and I was like, "Okay, like let me see what I can do." Now, we were going to a meal that day. We were invited for lunch. Sorry,
you and this girl.
Me and this girl and this guy. I think we all happened to be invited, or maybe somehow we orchestrated where we're like, all right, like he'll come also, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I forgot how exactly it went. And since I knew that he was interested, I made sure that they sat next to each other or across from each other, right?
Well
so
done.
I like orchestrated this.
Yeah. Let me just get you guys in a closer vicinity to conversation with each other.
I also knew that she would be interested in, I knew her type also, like looks wise, and also the type of person that she was looking for. So I felt okay doing it. Sometimes you don't want to necessarily start orchestrating things behind someone's back. Sometimes, right? Sometimes it's okay to do it. I don't know. What's your opinion? You do it all the time? Yeah? Okay. Yeah.
This is my industry.
Right,
but it's not behind their back. It's almost like people are giving you permission to help them.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people have said, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody. If you know of anybody, let me know." Or we've had a Shabbat story where like at our Shabbat table, I invited this one, I invited that one. Oh, she needs somebody to walk her home. Good, you should walk her home, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, 3 kids later, it all worked out.
Yeah.
But I think I do agree that like if somebody doesn't want you meddling in their life, so don't go meddling.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they were both open.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you orchestrate that they should sit near each other.
Yep.
Everything goes well.
Everything goes well. They're vibing. They're hitting it off. And so after Shabbat, I made sure I checked in with him and I said, would you like her number? I asked her also.
Can I give
yes,
your
can I
number
give
out?
yes? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not, right? Apparently the story is that it took him a month to message her or something like that.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's usually the down. See, that's the problem. When there's not just a matchmaker setting them up, but navigating and gently nudging them towards making plans and making something happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just falls.
Right.
She and
so I guess he eventually did it, and then they started going out, and they just got married a month ago. Yeah.
So you made a match.
Oh, I made a match. Yeah, and they got married. Yeah, and I got the honorary bracha under the chuppah. Yeah,
you gave a blessing under the chuppah.
Yeah. So one of the Shabbat brachot. Yeah. So
okay.
That's one. Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
No other romantic matches, but lots of other professional matches.
Lots of other professional matches. I feel like there should be an exchange rate for for every 10 business or professional matches equals one romantic match. Because you're helping Parnasa so that people are already married.
Why does it have to be 10 to 1? Why shouldn't it just be a 1-to-1 ratio? Any match is a match.
Sure. Yeah. I don't make the rules. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Apparently nobody does.
You're in business and you're in the romance world, right? Matchmaking world. Right. So you actually should be the arbiter of what that exchange rate should be.
Listen, you make 3 matches, you go to heaven. Yeah. I happen to think business matches are serious matches. The other type of matches that are really important are having a home. You got to find the right home. So a realtor, a real estate agent, or somebody who just recommends, hey, I think you should check this out. This is available. Yeah. Those kinds of matches, some people end up living there their whole life. Yeah. Right? You find a house, and it's not just your house. I tried to explain this in Hebrew. It's zelo bayit, ze bayit. It's not just a house, it's a home. But there isn't a word for a home different from the word for a house in Hebrew. Yeah, there's no way to explain it. Like a house is the makom, it's the place. But a home is what you make of that house with the people that are there. Yeah, definitely. Right. Anyway, this is not a Hebrew lesson.
No, definitely not. Do not rely on us for that. Yeah.
Although I like to throw a little bit in here and there. But I do think that it's really important that we make sure to bring the right connections together. And I don't think you can put a value on it. Finding the right job. What if you have that job? What if that girl that you got the job has that job for life? Yeah. Just like you have the spouse for life. Even if you don't have it for life. What if you have it for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and it launches you to the next thing?
100%.
So how is that not equally as important as finding your person?
Of course. It allows also the family that maybe the family already is a match. They are a husband and wife, but they need the parnasa so they can have more kids so they
can support their life and their
exactly.
lifestyle.
So ultimately, matchmaking is about, so that you can create a family. But if you can't afford to create a family, but somebody makes a business connection for you so that you can afford to actually have a family, equally important.
Very important. Not just equally, very okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You have more business matchmaking stories. I'm going to jog your memory because I want inspiration. I want people. So here's what I want people to know. I'm going to give you time to think.
Sure. Yeah.
But I want people to know that when you make a match, you are building somebody up. You are building their world. And in the same way that you would make a match for a business or make a match for a house or any recommendation, you could recommend a restaurant and somebody goes and eats there. You made a match of a new place somebody can go. You need to get a haircut. You make a recommendation of, your barber that you need to go to. It's another form, like you said, of exchange. Yeah. And it shifts somebody's life, and it's so easy, so to speak.
So easy, yeah.
It's so easy. But why is it when it comes to romantic matches, it's not so easy? Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I can't do this. It's too hard. I don't know anybody for you. I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. I don't know anybody. And I was like, no, that's not an acceptable answer. The same way that you make a match for a job or the same way you make a match for anything in the world, you can make a match for another person. You just have to have your eyes open. You have to be a little social. You have to be talking to people. Yep. You have to be a networker. I always tell people that networking and matchmaking is one of the most important things. They're like, oh, I don't know anybody. I know everybody in my circles. Yeah. Well, then you need a new circle, my friend.
100%.
Right? You need one new friend, and that new friend will introduce you to one new friend, and then you'll have a new circle of friends who will introduce you to new people, and there might be your person along the way.
100%.
And so my through this podcast, I hope, because we haven't done one like this before, I hope that people can see in the same way that you make a match for business or for a home or for any recommendation, you could also just make a romantic interest match.
Yeah.
And a shout out to men to try to do this, because women, we're natural connectors. And guys are like, whatever, if he's interested, he'll ask her out. And I'm like, no, you got to make the effort. You got to set him up.
100%, yeah.
So
it's actually like, you brought up an interesting point. We were talking about it before the show, is that you have to, if you don't have enough people in your circle and you don't have, like, go out and create that new circle. And the best way to do that is by just going to events, going to places. Even if you don't have a set agenda, I know I'm going to get something out of it. The amount of times that I've been to events or places where I was like there's really nothing there for me, but I'm just going to go. And I actually have a really cool story about that. But it connects to this, phrase that I mentioned before, which is, if you're considering going to an event or staying home, I always like to say, no good story ever started with, so I decided to stay home and watch Netflix.
Unless it was my show.
Unless it was your show.
It inspired you to date.
Exactly. Right. Unless it was Eliza's show on Netflix. But seriously, go out, go to events, go to places. You'll meet people. And go outside of your comfort zone. Be uncomfortable. That's where growth lives. And I actually got invited to be a host on a podcast. And it was a brand new podcast, no subscribers, no track record, no reputation whatsoever. And I was like everything is telling me not to do it, but like a part of me is saying, like, go do it, get yourself out there. It's good exposure, good experience. And so I agreed. And it was all the way in Beit Shemesh. I'm like, why?
Just for perspective, it's easier for me to go from Pardes Chana to Tel Aviv than from Tel Aviv to Beit Shemesh. The train from me to there, it was really far. Yeah. It takes a while.
So maybe we can get this studio to replace it. Yeah, this is in Tel Aviv. Anyway, and I went, but with an open mind, but it was not a networking event. And the podcast didn't even go live yet. And I'm sitting there after I recorded my session. There was like more hosts coming through, and a couple came in, and the wife went on, and she was doing her thing on the show, and I sat with the husband on the couch, and we just started chatting. Turns out he has an organization. It's called Beit Binyamin, and they started this organization in memory of their son. It's a healing center for anyone affected by October 7th and the war that's been going on. Anyway, he's like, oh, we could potentially use your guys' services. What are you doing this afternoon? Do you want to come meet our executive director? So literally that day I had a meeting.
Because who wants to shut back? You might as well just stay there
literally
for a
that day. And 2 days later, the deal was closed.
Wow.
And now they're a client, and now we're promoting them. And now we might have, people coming to the center and promoting it to donate to Beit Binyamin. But it gets even better. Wow. I met also Nissan Black there. We just signed Nissan Black as a talent partner. So so many connections just from showing up, and you never know. Yeah.
You know what I like? You said, and I have this also, like when everything inside of you is like, ugh, why should I make the effort, right? There's no track record. There's nothing there that's drawing me in. There's no sweetness even to say like, ugh, you should do this, right? And you're like, no, I'm going to go because I need to get out. Mm-hmm. I need to go do something. And you never know when something good can happen. And then you do it. And then the result of it is such a blessing. Yeah. And it's so sweet. And it's so unexpected.
Unexpected,
right?
yeah.
You could go to an event with 500 people. I always say you need to have your one golden nugget moment.
Yes.
Right? You need to walk away with one piece of wisdom, one new connection, one new idea. Like it doesn't pay to go somewhere or to do something in life without walking away with that one.
Yep.
But even to know that whether you're in a room with 2 or 3 or 5 people or 500 people, the connections are no less valuable and potentially even more.
Yeah.
I find that really inspiring. Yeah. And that's also like a shout out to people, like you said, Don't sit home and do Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Go to an event. And it doesn't have to be like, just speaking on behalf of dating and daters, it doesn't need to be a dating related event.
Correct.
It can be a fundraiser. It can be a community-wide event. It can just be something that you have interest in. It could be something music related, or if you have a hobby related. Like, it's really irrelevant what it is. You don't have to try so hard. And then other times I tell people, try hard. Like, you know, if you want to go find somebody, where's that person going to be? What are they going to be doing? Right? Like, you're into fitness, so go to the gym. You're into health and wellness, so go to a class. You know, just find people that
100%.
Can speak your language and do something meaningful.
And I think also sometimes if you show up to an event and you're like, oh, there's nothing here for me, then go find it. Then it's like, okay, make sure that this thing that you just went to is not a waste of time. Then it becomes your mission. And I don't know what it is. Like, you figure it out. And that happened to me literally yesterday. Yeah, on Shabbat. I show up to a lunch and I was like, there's no one here romantically that I'm interested in. And I didn't feel like there was much business connection. Not that I'm doing business connections on Shabbat, but you're always like trying to just connect with people. And I was like, I knew a lot of the people already. And I was like, oh, the cholent was very good though. The kugel was really good.
That's it, my one golden
and
nugget,
then
the cholent and the kugel.
And then in walks, you know, and this was what I was thinking about this for a while, but I'm also like, okay, let me just enjoy, let me just chill and just have a good time, right? But in the back of my mind, you're always thinking, I wonder if this could be a little bit better. Anyway, in walks this couple, right? And this guy comes in and turns out he's a very good potential business connection for me, but we'll put that aside for a moment. But he walks in with a beautiful Yemenite girlfriend of his, right? Girlfriend, so not available for me. But I was like, that's my look. I'm usually into the Yemenite women. So how can I figure out how to say that without really saying that, right?
You can't pretend like you're hitting on his girlfriend. That
Exactly.
would be a really bad move.
Exactly. So I asked them, I was like, oh, how do you meet? And they're like,
that's
we
a good
met.
starting point.
Always ask how you guys met. Oh, we met at this guy, like, who's sitting next to me, right? Oh, hey, Mr. So-and-so, how come you haven't invited me? It seems like you have beautiful Yemenite women sometimes at your place, right? And then so the guy, the boyfriend, says, oh, you're into that? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, she's got a lot of friends. I was like, nailed it. I was like, I didn't have to ask, right? And I gave her a compliment, you know, I didn't have to ask, but I planted that seed, and then all of a sudden he got the message.
You're single, you're looking, this is your type and style.
Yeah.
I'm sure besides beautiful, you need somebody who's smart and friendly and warm and connected.
Actually,
and
no,
all
none
those.
of those things.
And a good sense of humor.
And definitely a good sense of humor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So it's kind of like the bro code. Like, you didn't break the bro code, whatever that really is.
Yeah.
And you kind of leaned into, right, this is also my type. And, oh, she's got friends. Oh, look at what a nice surprise.
Yeah. That might be advanced level, like, you know, that might be like. He
didn't go that far.
What?
He didn't go that far.
No, I'm saying to be able to do that type of, like, communication navigation is not an easy thing.
So let's just call out what you did.
Sure, yeah.
You saw a vision of a couple and you're like, that's like a similar kind of couple that I want to be, right? So you saw an image of what works for you, and then you schmoozed and you made a connection. Yeah. Right? So first you had the vision, then you made a connection.
Yeah.
And then
you're already having a conversation with them.
You're having a little conversation.
Yeah.
And then you got curious. Yeah. Getting curious is one of the best ways to connect with people. You ask them about their story. How did they meet? It prompted them to open up and share something. The guy who introduced them is sitting there in the room. And then they realize, like, oh, he also wants to be introduced, so it was already there, right? So you didn't blatantly call it out. And you could have said, like, hey, have any friends or any sisters or anybody else?
And I've done that.
Right.
I've done that.
And you could have done that, but you didn't do that. But he figured it out on his own, and he's like, hey, maybe we could set you up. Oh, she's got friends. Look at that. Let me make a match. So you put yourself in the right place. People talk about the right place at the right time. Yeah. And so it sounds like you were in the right place at the right time and doing the right things. You were open to connection. You were meeting random people that you had never met before, working hard to strike up conversation. And
over cholent. Like, what better place to do it? Yeah.
Who doesn't want to connect over chilling?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, so you did the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So story to be continued. And
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right, he may or may not be available.
Right. That's true. By the time this podcast, airs. Yeah.
Do you want to give us a little info about yourself so we know a little more? Because if anybody is listening or watching, they can give a shout out and be like, hey, Eliza, I got somebody for him.
Yeah. Okay. So I live in Tel Aviv. I'm Shomer Shabbat, Shomer Kashrut. I am a new entrepreneur. I run an agency called Barzel Media. I like to think I have a pretty good sense of humor, energetic, fun, positive, pretty much always in a good mood. And I'm looking for someone to compliment me. I don't know what that person exactly is. I tend to be more attracted to people who don't look anything like me.
Okay.
So, Yemenites, Ethiopian, but
you have lighter features, they have darker features.
Exactly, yeah. But also, I've gone out with people that, are Ashkenazi. Like, I don't, I'm super open-minded. From the looks department, but there needs to be like a good connection. Like for me, and I actually had a spontaneous date last night, and like the best part of it was not the physical attraction, was the connection, the human connection that we had. And like when you get that, when you find that, it's the sexiest thing. Yeah.
So what is that connection? Just banter, play, conversation, depth of persona, character.
It's really
hard. I know it's hard to. It's nuanced. It's hard to put into words.
I can say kind of like some of the things that happened maybe last night in this spontaneous date. But some of the things that I saw were curiosity on both sides, just genuine interest, good humor, banter, a little bit of poking fun. Okay. Right? If they can.
So they can take it. You can't have somebody that's so serious and so intense that they can't. Poke fun at themselves.
I was poking fun at her, but it was in a very playful way. It wasn't about something that, that she would be offended by. It was, and it opened up the playfulness to a connection. And so being able to do that with somebody is, I think, really important. If you can also, just as from a personal perspective, if you also can be light or loose enough to not take yourself so seriously, where you're open to somebody just poking fun a little bit. Again, it shouldn't be something that's like you're very sensitive about, but it's something that you don't care about. Being able to be open to that, and then finding somebody who can just banter with you, like your friends. Right. I think it really creates a strong connection. So that was there. We just started talking, I don't even know. Just when the conversation flows, it just flows.
Right, when it wasn't work to think about what you had to say and how to say it and when and what's going to happen next.
Yeah. But I think it's also important, if you're not maybe great at, having these types of conversations and feeling really comfortable, have some things that you've like written down that are good, curious questions, okay?
Oh. Do you have any favorite? Yeah.
So actually, before I get to that, one of the strongest signs of a great connection, this could be friendship or romance, to me it doesn't matter, is when at no point in the conversation was the question asked, so what do you do? Or what are your hobbies? Like,
because you had plenty to talk about without bringing that up?
Correct.
Okay.
And also, it's not the most important thing. It's more about your values, your connections, what your beliefs are, what values do you hold strong? What are the things that interest you, that you're curious about? And not once did we talk about business or work or anything.
That's big for you because you like business. I like business too.
Yeah.
But it's like a big topic of conversation.
For sure. I love what I do. Right. I'm so lucky. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I found something that I love. So it does take a little bit of self-control for me not to talk about that, but I also know that a better genuine connection can be made if I'm not talking about work.
And so that happened.
Yeah, so that happened, yeah.
So you told me, because we schmoozed about this a little before, I got a little insight, but you met on the beach, and you schmoozed, and then, so I was schmoozing. I felt like there was a little bit of a vibe, a little bit of a connection. Some light flirting was happening, and
Usually what happens is, oh, can I get your number? Let's, meet up. Fine. Like, that's standard protocol. I think that it's time for men to take a little bit more action and be spontaneous. So what I did was I said, are you feeling spontaneous? I said something like, I was like, I hope you're a spontaneous person. Let's go for a drink right now. What do you think? And she's like, okay. And then so she's like, but I don't drink. I was like, cool, no problem. We walked in the Tayelet and sat on the beach and had this beautiful long connection and beautiful conversations. Yeah.
So you went from having your conversation, having a moment, spontaneously meeting you.
It was light banter.
Right.
It was light.
And then it could have you really could have just been like, see you later, bye. You're on your way to do whatever. You didn't, either of you have obviously hard plans.
Right.
And you're like, hey, you up for being spontaneous? Like, let's just have a date right now. Like, let's go out.
Exactly. If the energy's right, go for it. Take advantage of it. Instead of I have there are dozens and dozens of stories that I personally have, and I'm sure hundreds that friends have, where you make a good connection and then you plan to meet and then the timing doesn't work. Oh, I'm not available this week. And then eventually it just fades. It doesn't, the date doesn't happen.
I cannot tell you how many romantic comedies are out there that people watch and it gets to the moment. You're like, okay, is it going to happen? And then it's like, they see each other in the elevator, but he doesn't ask for the number. They're passing down the road. They always walk down the same street and they see each other and they don't ask. They stop. They're in line for coffee together. They say hello, hello, hello. Nothing. And then they don't ask. Yeah. You literally miss the moment. You're like waiting the whole movie, waiting. And then all of a sudden, maybe later on, they're
in the library and they pick up the same book. Oh my God, you're also interested in Elisa Ben Shalom's Matchmaker Matchmaker book? Talk about a plug, right?
He's the media guy. Very good. Well done. But they miss the moment. And then the whole movie is literally getting back to that moment that never happened so that we could make it happen, because our dream, our moment that could have been never was. And I never said something. Even most recently, I don't watch a lot of movies and do this, but every once in a while I like to stay in my genre and watch the romantic comedies to see what kind of nonsense people are putting in the world, so I know what I have to combat. And they had the movie where the guy and the girl are talking to each other. And then you see, he says something, but you see it's written in like a little script bubble what he wanted to say, and you hear what came out of his mouth.
Oh,
so, so whatever came out of his mouth is very casual, like, sure, yeah, whatever you want. And he's like, no, I like you. I want to take you out. But it's not. It's like from the brain to the mouth, we do not make the connection, or from the heart to the mouth. It's not welling up enough within us to come out, to have the guts to say something, to do something.
Yeah.
I think it's fabulous to say, like, hey, you up for being spontaneous? Let's go on a date right now.
And what's the worst thing that happens? She says no.
Right.
Great, that's it.
If she's going to say no,
and then you have no regrets
anyway.
Because you now know. You have a definitive answer. You're not like, oh, I wonder if. No, you know. And the answer is no. Great. Cool. Moving on. Yeah.
I think it's a little bit also about being Israeli. I think maybe, I grew up in America, very American, non-Israeli. And there's something about being Israeli that is just about being direct, straightforward, saying it like it is, wearing your heart on your sleeve, being open about it. You still have to play the game, but that you're not, everything's not hidden and layered down. It just bubbles up so much faster, and it can happen more spontaneously and more quickly. And I love that. It's one of the things I absolutely adore about being in Israel and learning from all the Israelis, because it's not my natural way, and I have to work at doing that. So as they say, kol hakavod, way to go. Good for you to actually say something and land yourself in.
I have one other piece of advice when it comes to putting yourself out there, because that was a moment. It happened to be, we're both next to each other, fine, great. But I think if you're out and about in like a potentially social environment, social experience, you had a bar, you had an event, you're maybe walking around the streets of Tel Aviv, whatever it is, and maybe you're interested in meeting a girl, whatever the case might be, or a girl wants to meet a man, right?
Speak to the men.
Okay, I'll speak to the men. I'll speak to the men here. I found a way to always win. Okay? You ready for this?
I'm
you ready for this?
I'm
okay.
ready.
You go out with the mindset when you're like trying to find somebody and just maybe ask a girl if she's interested, or just going over to them and saying, hey, I'm Brian. Hey, introduce yourself. You know, just see. You never know. Your goal for that evening is to get 2 no's.
Flip it.
Flip the script.
Right.
You've hedged your experience. No matter what, you win.
Right.
And you'd be surprised how many yeses you're gonna get, and how hard it is going to be to get no's.
You think?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Social experiment.
We're
all excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Your goal is to get two
two
no's.
Yeah.
So I've seen this and heard this specifically with overcoming fear of rejection in life, business life, personal, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But to go out and to try and get a no every day, so that, because if I get a no, it means I've made an effort.
Yep.
And I think that that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just make an effort. And if your goal is to get a no, then you win because you reached your goal.
Yep.
And if you get a number and you get a yes, you also win.
Flip the script.
It's a win-win.
We get to control our actions. We don't get to control what happens to us, but we get to control the decisions that we make. So orchestrate it where you're always in a win-win situation, and that's a good example of it. Yeah.
That's a fabulous example of it.
Yeah.
Such good wisdom.
I've got a lot more. You have it could be round 2.
Give me anything else for the men. If there's something like that's bubbling up that you're like, oh, they need to know this. Not just they, we, right? Because this is, you're in the dating parsha, as they call it. You're in the...
what other advice?
What do men need to hear that they're not hearing, or what do they need to know that they don't know, or that they're not doing? Or do you have any advice to women, like being the guy and a woman saying like, okay, but how do you want us to approach you? Besides like, yay, happenstance, right? So if it doesn't happenstance, and if it's a little more work than organic, because sometimes it's not as organic and you do have to kind of work it.
Yeah.
How do you want them to make an introduction to you? How do you want them to let you know they're interested without it being a turnoff? Because like, hey, if you're interested in me, then I'm gonna like, the game, it doesn't work real well, and a lot of people just don't want to play the game. They're like, forget about it. I'll just make an effort. If they like it, the Israeli way, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. I'm like, no, you have to play a little more than that.
Yeah.
How do you want to be approached?
It's tough. It's not, there's no easy answer for this. And I understand there are dating game dynamics. It just exists. You know, there is, in the traditional sense, the man should be approaching the woman.
But it's not happening enough.
Correct.
Today.
It's not happening enough. Therefore, women do need to figure out a way to step it up. But because it's I would say like a slightly unnatural course of what should be done, it's a little bit touchy. So I would say, I mean, these aren't any novel ideas. I think making eye contact, prolonged eye contact can do that. The question is like, will the man be receptive to that? Like, will he get the hint, right? So men, if that's happening, get the hint and just go over. Just go over. If somebody makes eye contact with you, just go over and just say hi. That's it. You don't have to say, oh, I wonder, is she interested in me? Maybe she's looking behind me? Just go over and say hi. Right. And then you'll find out. Yeah.
Right. And if you're looking for your rejection and you get it,
boom.
Great.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then second piece of advice, this is not for the Shomer Nagia crowd, but light touching, like, really helps. Like, men pick up on that. Men pick up on if there's like a light touch.
If you miss the eye contact.
If you miss the eye contact, like a little, extended like touch of the arm, men pick up on that. Not always, but it definitely helps. But also, sometimes people can be very friendly and touchy, so don't necessarily interpret that as, oh my God, she's into me. Yeah.
Also, it totally breaks my 5-date challenge, but it's okay for the sake of a piece of advice, because I think that there's many pieces of advice
exactly.
that people need to hear.
Yeah. And not endorsed by Matchmaker Matchmaker.
No, listen, I give a lot of different tips and tools of what to do and how to do it, and that's one of many ways to try to build a connection, because if there's something there, even if she doesn't touch you, if there's
Yeah.
banter, if there's play, you're going to be drawn in.
Yeah.
But that's when things are a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
When they're less obvious, I think that you're right. I think that sometimes other things do help to lean in to build a little bit of connection, and that somebody should have the idea that there's something here to explore.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, this was fabulous. Thank
Super
you for
fun.
all the advice for all the men and the ladies.
Pleasure. Yeah.
Can you tell people how we can find you business-wise if anybody wants to be in contact?
Yeah, so my name is Brian Spivak. So on Instagram, just look me up. And Barzel Media is the name of my company. Find us. We're helping to create connections and matches for pro-Israel influencers and pro-Israel brands. There it is.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
As always, Aliza Ben Shalom with Matchmaker Matchmaker, here to help you find a love that lasts. If you have not yet grabbed your copy of Matchmaker Matchmaker, you definitely should, because I was just told by somebody who's really an avid reader that they got through chapter 1 and they were like, oh my gosh, it's so like it's a book you can sink your teeth into. It really gives the story about not just what to do and how to do it, but it explains it through the eyes of a couple that's already going through it, which is just fascinating. Anyway, it's a good read. And as always, you can find us at marriagemindedmentor.com. We're here to help you with dating, relationships, coaching, matchmaking, and of course, the Jewish matchmaking movement, which is now here to help your community bring matchmaking in and help get you matched. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again next time.